Hello, everyone. I'm Uehara, Dean of the University of Washington School of Social Work, and I'm honored to welcome our 2020 graduates and their families, friends, and loved ones to this unique graduation ceremony. Before we begin, please join me in a moment of silence to honor the memories of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and untold Black Americans whose precious lives have been lost to the systemic racism plaguing this nation since its founding. Black Lives Matter. We see you, we hear you, and we pledge to stand with you. Let us also acknowledge that our university and many of the homes from which we participate today are on or near the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish people. We acknowledge the history of indigenous land dispossession that undergirds our very presence today. Graduates, I so wish we could gather together in person to celebrate your amazing accomplishments. All of you should have received a gift box from us, or will soon. If you haven't opened your gift boxes yet, please open them now. They are a small token of our deep appreciation for all you've achieved and our pride in the professional path you've chosen. We come together virtually today to honor the accomplishments of 291 passionate and dedicated social work students who have worked incredibly hard to reach this milestone. Graduates, we are profoundly proud of you. And as the great tragedy of recent events suggests, the world needs your energy, your skills, your commitment to social justice, now perhaps more than ever before. Behind each of you stand family members, friends, and loved ones who I know provided support and encouragement, gave up precious family time, and maybe helped out financially so you could focus on achieving your dreams. To all family and friends, the School of Social Work salutes and thanks you. Our graduation is very much an embrace and celebration of you. To the class of 2020, we stand in awe. Your academic achievements are all the more impressive in light of the many hurdles strewn in your path by the twin pandemics of COVID-19 and systemic racism. The fortitude and grace you've shown during this most difficult of times, this annus horribilis, are nothing short of extraordinary. Esteemed class of 2020, you graduate in times of great tumult and turbulence, but never doubt that you're a part of a greater community of social workers who will work and fight alongside other activists, coalitions, and communities for the universal right to health care, for the inalienable rights of immigrant, indigenous, and refugee communities, for the protection of all populations subjected to marginalization, oppression, and violence, and indeed for the survival of our very planet and all living beings who would thrive on it. As a new generation of social workers, you will step up to the tumult, you will step into the turbulence in order to bend the long arc of the moral universe towards social justice. You are an unstoppable, unwavering, and immeasurable force for good. Congratulations and thanks to all of you.
Aloha 2020 graduates. I am Kalei Kanuha, Assistant Dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the school. I am so happy for each and every one of you who is graduating. This is such a significant milestone and accomplishment, and we also congratulate your family, friends, relatives, and always your ancestors who are smiling with pride for you on this auspicious occasion. They are proud of you, and we are proud of you. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Professor Beth Ritchie, who will be sharing some of her brilliance, kindness, and inspiration with us today. This year marks the 40th year that Beth and I have been friends and comrades in the work to end violence against women, particularly focused on Native and women of color and LGBTQ communities. Dr. Ritchie has bachelor's and master's degrees in social work before veering off into sociology and women's studies for her doctorate. Professor Ritchie is one of the most sought-after Black feminist scholar activists in the U.S., with her work on the intersection of sexism, racism, and interpersonal violence in the criminal legal system, particularly targeted against Black women and the African American community. Her work on the buildup of America's prison nation focuses on the powerful stories of queer, Black, poor, and older persons who are overly surveilled by the police. Dr. Ritchie's current work on abolition feminism is forthcoming in a new book with Professor Angela Davis. For these perilous days we are in right now, and for all of the days ahead where we must struggle to stay in the long battle to end racist policies and practices by advocating for justice, we welcome the heart, mind, and spirit of Professor Beth Ritchie.
Thank you, Professor Kanuha, for this opportunity to address these amazing graduating students and their families and loved ones, and your esteemed faculty. I've long admired the University of Washington School of Social Work, and because I know that graduation is a very special time, and graduation speeches take precious moments from celebrations, I'm going to keep my remarks brief. In particular, I'm going to pass quickly, maybe too quickly, over the obvious things. This is a time that graduates should pause and take a deep breath. The papers are done, the exams have been submitted, the internships are over, and it's also a time that you should recognize all those who helped you do all of those things. You should call the names of your parents and guardians, acknowledge your loved ones, look your children in the eye with pride, reach out and join in your neighborhood events again, and appreciate deeply your professors and mentors. It's a time where you have decisions to make about your future, adjustments about how to balance things again, and commitments to make or remake to the people, ideas, to your projects and your work. It's a privilege to do all of those things, to make decisions, to make commitments, and to breathe, to breathe. I've been a social worker for over 40 years, leading a criminology program at the University of Illinois at Chicago as a social worker, researching gender violence as a social worker, teaching in a maximum security prison for who the state defined as men as a social worker, writing a new book about abolition feminism as a social worker, raising a child with my partner as a social worker. Recently, protesting in the streets, cleaning up broken glass in my neighborhood, writing statements about why we should move resources away from policing and into communities, bailing young people out of jail. All of this as a social worker, a Black feminist social worker, a Black feminist queer social worker committed to ending the tyranny of violence and anti-Black racism, and all those things that support that. Racialized capitalism, able-bodyism, xenophobia, and most importantly, I'm a social worker who can breathe. And so are each of you. You're graduating from the University of Washington during a pandemic that exposed the racial and class inequality associated with death. You're graduating as social workers during an economic crisis that will disproportionately impact poor people, disabled people, queer people, people of color. You're graduating from social work school during an international uprising in response to racial and economic injustice, things that we've seen in our lifetime that are just coming to the consciousness of so many people around the globe. And since you can breathe, and since there is no knee on your neck, your job as graduates, as social workers, is to lean deeply, deeply into the values of our profession: justice, equity, freedom, mutual aid, respect, empowerment, because you are free to do so, because you can breathe. You're obligated to dignify those who cannot, based on our social work values. How do you do this? 3 pieces of advice. First, let yourself be changed and moved by this convergence of untimely death, fear, anxiety, revolutionary passion for justice. Come out of this stay-at-home time, come out of this season of international protest and economic devastation, come out different, a different kind of social worker. Remember that the radical roots of social work practice, anti-racist practice, community building practice, respect for differences, optimism, be good social workers. And third, breathe deeply. Take the long view. Resist anything that threatens your spirit. And as you do, call the names of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all those who have died or had their lives shortened because of state abuse of power. Know that with every breath you take, others cannot breathe. And don't stop working until they can. I end with a quote from Ella's song from the amazing Black feminist a cappella group. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Celebrate your graduation, sleep late, catch up with those who you love, and then regroup and fight. Fight in whatever job you do, whatever agency you work with, whatever campaign you join, whatever community you find yourself in. Fight like a social worker would until freedom comes, until everyone can breathe.
Now I'm honored to introduce our keynote speaker, Tina Orwall, Washington State Representative, Social Justice Champion, and School of Social Work MSW graduate, class of 1991. Since 2009, Tina has represented Washington's 33rd District, bringing her unrelenting passion for social reform to Olympia. Her collaborative approach and steadfast commitment to inclusion enable her to find common ground on tough social issues, whether suicide prevention, rape kit reform, sex trafficking, homelessness, or adoptee rights. Before joining the state legislature, Tina was a clinical social worker serving individuals with mental illness and advocating for those experiencing homelessness. In 2017, she received the school's prestigious Moya M. Duplica Distinguished Alumni Award. Her more recent honors include the 2020 National Association of Social Workers Washington State Public Citizen of the Year Award and the Allies in Action State Award from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I am delighted to welcome a great friend of our school and of our state, this year's School of Social Work graduation keynote speaker, state legislature and social worker, Tina Orwall.
Thank you for your kind introduction and for your strong leadership. You have such a warm presence. We are so fortunate to have you at the helm of our school, the top social work program in the world. Hello, graduates of class of 2020. It is such a great honor to have been selected to speak at your graduation. Thank you. I know the past few weeks have been extremely heart-wrenching and have been weighing heavily on all of us. Racial and social justice advocacy have always been a priority for social workers, but we have seen a level of awareness like never before, and now is the time to mobilize the community into meaningful action. As stated earlier, I graduated with my BS in psychology and MSW from the University of Washington. I was in the evening program where I worked full-time, I went to class and practicum all at once. I know how demanding these programs can be. What you've done is no small feat. I know you've worked so hard to be here today, and you have made countless sacrifices while juggling many of life's competing demands. And even though we aren't in HECED, where I can see your beautiful faces, thanks to technology, we are connected. I'd like to take a moment to thank the talented faculty of the School of Social Work, and I'd like to give a special shout out to Professor Jen Stuber, who in her darkest hour reached out to help others. We have worked on over 9 bills addressing suicide prevention in our state, including one this year which will require more advanced training for clinicians working in the field. I am also so proud of the University of Washington and their leadership during this pandemic. And of course, I could not be more proud of you, the graduating class of 2020. You know, years ago, in the early 80s, before laptops, I was an undergraduate and research peon at the University of Washington. I remember sitting in a dark room entering data into the mainframe. I think we were using SPSS, which they still use today. And my early computer, I think it was a Commodore 64. This was exciting new technology, but it was so slow. And on a regular basis, it would just freeze. So whenever that happened, you could do a warm reboot, which you would push 3 magic buttons, Control, Alt, and Delete. And if that didn't work, you had to do a hard reboot, the forced one, pushing on the Start button. Force a reboot. You never knew what was going to happen. Often you had a blank screen and all of your data was lost. Did you still have an operating system? COVID-19 was a hard reboot. Within a short period of time, we saw so many deaths as our state became one of the first epicenters of the virus in the country. The status quo was shattered and our lives were forever changed. Then, during this period of profound vulnerability and isolation, yet again, we become witnesses to what can only be described as a modern-day lynching of a black man by the name of George Floyd. With his final breaths, he calls out for his mother. "I can't breathe." His final words, "You are going to kill me." Our hearts broke. There is a saying, you can choose to look away, but you can never say again that you didn't know. Our nation has looked away for hundreds of years. Massacres of indigenous people, slavery, lynching, mass incarceration, police brutality, death penalty sentences. The murder of George Floyd struck a nerve so deep in our nation's soul that has erupted an acute response to centuries of pain and suffering for people of color, especially our Black community. Black lives matter. We are no longer looking away. We have taken our voices to the streets and reached out to our elected leaders. I am so proud of everyone who has made their voices heard. As an elected official, we see you, we hear you. Black lives do matter. This has been a stressful time on all of us, but we know some are carrying a heavier burden. We are still trying to figure out what we have lost. My heart aches for those who have been deeply impacted by police brutality and a racist system, who have lost loved ones, who have suffered silently under oppression and fear for years, those who have lost a sense of safety or health, and those who have lost their financial security. So in this global pandemic, what have we gained? We have found new connections, and I don't mean just electronically. I mean our fate, our fears, our vulnerabilities, our constant reminder of our own mortality, which is breaking news every hour. And yes, we have embraced some new ways of connecting electronically that have less impact on the environment, though I do think there's some out there that may need some effective Zoom meeting training. And I don't know about your dog or cat, but my dog Kona thinks it's pet utopia. I go outside to the mailbox and she's like, "Where have you been?" But most of all, what has brought us together is our search for justice. Lining the streets day after day, standing up together, I am so inspired. So what lies ahead? We may not have control over this pandemic occurring, but we do have control on how we respond and move forward, and we will move forward. We have also gained a unique opportunity. Our status quo has been shattered. Let us not spend our time trying to piece it back together. This is an opportunity to reboot our humanity. It is our time, your time, to rebuild our society and our systems that were built on institutional racism. Let us build them in a way where everyone has a seat at the table and no one is left behind. How many systems can you think of that need a reboot? As a legislator, I've had the opportunity to work on failed systems. Back in 2015, I was touring an evidence room looking at storage issues, and I kept seeing these white boxes stacked to the ceiling. I asked staff what was in them. They explained they were sexual assault kits and had never been tested. I sat in my car that day and cried, knowing each of those boxes was a survivor's voice who had never been heard. They probably thought we had tested them, but we had failed. We later discovered over 10,000 kits sitting on shelves across our state and over 400,000 nationwide. And many untested kits belonged to survivors of color. The system had failed. After that, I introduced legislation to require that every kit be tested and a creation of a statewide team of law enforcement, prosecutors, the Attorney General, providers, and survivors with the task of creating a trauma-informed system to support survivors. It's been an honor to team up with my colleagues Leah and Nicole, who bring a survivor perspective and have helped shape our policies. They have been powerful voices to help us build this system at the state and national level. The system had little interest to change. It needed a reboot. We've made a lot of significant changes, including mandatory testing of every kit when the survivor wants to pursue charges, a statewide tracking system where the survivor can check the status of their kit online, and hundreds have, the creation of a high-throughput lab, which after we eliminate the backlog, We'll test every kit within 45 days. Resources for investigating these older cases, because it's not enough just to test. We need to investigate and prosecute. Trauma-informed training for law enforcement, which is a good start, but we know we need to expand cultural and racial bias training as well. But it is not enough to just test. We need these cases investigated and prosecuted. Changes to our law so the burden is not on the survivor to show all the ways they did not consent, but to shift the burden on the perpetrator to prove affirmative consent. This is critical because now we have less than 2% of sexual assault cases ever making it to trial. Now we are building a system that provides a pathway for justice for survivors and is holding serial rapists accountable, because no survivor should be asked what they were wearing or if they fought back enough. No survivor should be afraid to report their sexual assault, and no survivor should be silenced or forgotten. Thanks to the actions of our state and the strong voices of survivors and advocates, this will not happen again. So what system do you want to reboot? How about our criminal justice system and those impacted by police brutality or mass incarceration, or eliminating the death penalty? Or how about rebooting the juvenile justice system and eliminating the school-to-prison pipeline? Or the lack of response to youth, primarily youth of color, who are being bought and sold for sexual exploitation every day in our community? How about how we respond to individuals and families who are experiencing homelessness? How about rebooting who receives access to quality health care? This is our time to build a new system, include the voices of those who have been left behind or forgotten. As you think about the work ahead, I want to share 4 things that I have learned on this life journey that I hope you find helpful. First, you are not alone. In tough times or good times, I know you may feel isolated, alone, fearful, especially working in such a demanding field. We are all connected. Everything we do in life is a team, your school, career, or family life. I know I work with an amazing team of people in Olympia, so I want to do a special shout out to Mary. We've worked together for 12 years, and she is the kindest and hardest working person I know. And Rachel, Emily, and all my talented colleagues. I want you to take a moment. Think about who inspired you, motivated you, believed in you, and helped you be where you are today. The second lesson, a true leader helps others lead. You know, I always think of one of my favorite supervisors, David Wertheimer. We worked for King County on a homeless project, and he'd bring us together and he'd say, "What if?" And we worked on complex system issues. We need to surround ourselves with people who think bold and out of the box. I have an opportunity to supervise amazing social work interns every year. I am so proud of them. 2 of my recent interns, Noah and Rachel, are both working in Olympia. And just to let you know, we need more social workers in Olympia. The skills I developed at the School of Social Work have been critical to my work in Olympia, like making sure every voice is heard, setting up a transparent and fair process for all. I want to do a shout out to Emily Stone, my amazing social work intern this year. She was able to jump in and research best practices on protecting homeowners from predatory contractors and present it to a very large stakeholder group. She worked on the Mockingbird model and expanding services to foster youth. And after 3 years, helped us pass Safe Harbors that provides a therapeutic response to young survivors of trafficking. I am so proud of you. Thank you, Emily. You are truly amazing. Next, I want to talk about integrity versus loyalty. Which do you think is more important? When you look at the definitions, integrity is kind of that moral compass inside us. It's part of our character that we build over a lifetime. And loyalty is that strong feeling of support or allegiance. At some point, you will have a challenge in your workplace and maybe your personal life where there is a tremendous pressure to conform in a way that may not align with your values, beliefs, or identities. I remember my son, who was in 3rd grade when I first ran for office. He said, "Mom, do you know how you know you're doing a good job?" He said, "When something really important comes up, everyone is sitting down and you stand up." Please remember to not only stand up for others, but to stand up for yourself. Because at the end of the day, integrity is about remaining loyal to yourself. And finally, there are things that can be hard to find. One of them is kindness. I'll share a secret with you. Most of the time when I receive an email from a constituent, it's not to tell me I'm doing a good job. Though occasionally I get emails that are kind sent to me, and I put them in a folder called Kind Emails. What I have found is that someone often reaches out to my office when they are frustrated or in crisis. Some of the letters I get can be pretty angry, such as letting me know that I am the most incompetent person on the face of the earth. When I receive a mean-spirited email, I try to remember they are probably angry because they don't feel heard. They are in pain, scared, or don't have a sense of belonging. Validating their feelings and showing kindness, taking the kind road can go a long way. And then, as a social worker, I instinctively also try to connect them with the resources they need. So what I have learned is that to open a mind, we must first open a heart, starting with our own. In closing, we have a difficult road ahead of us. There is so much work. So please, stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong, my friend. This is your moment. You are a Husky grad. You are an essential worker. Your service, your leadership, your vision, you are needed more than ever. So let's work together to build a better future. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Tessa Evans-Campbell, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs. Graduating BASW and MSW student cohorts each nominate and vote for a faculty member to receive the Student's Choice Teaching Award, which recognizes outstanding contributions to classroom teaching. Faculty are chosen based upon their enthusiasm and innovation, their ability to engage students, and their ability to inspire independent and critical thinking. This year, our BASW students have chosen Jane Macy for the BASW Teaching Award. At the MSW level, Steve Wilson was selected by the MSW Extended Degree students, and Alice Ryan was selected by the MSW Day students. At the PhD level, the doctoral students have selected Michael Spencer for the Luane Gilchrist Doctoral Mentor Award. You will all hear more information about these awards when we break for degree conferrals. Many, many congratulations, Jane, Steve, Alice, and Mike. We are about to come to the main event, celebrating and awarding degrees to this year's graduates. Today we honor the graduating students for all their hard work and their outstanding academic accomplishments. I want to start by giving recognition to the many graduates who have made special contributions to the school. Students who have served the school during their time here are noted in the graduation program with small symbols next to their names. Those of us on the faculty and staff have benefited greatly from everything these students have done for the school. Some of these students have helped recruit other students for our undergraduate and graduate programs. Some have been active in the classroom, including our senior facilitators for the intergroup dialogues. Other students have helped to plan and facilitate new student orientations. They have also served as student liaisons with the National Association of Social Workers. They have created and led student organizations, including the Student Advisory Council, and they have worked with faculty on every major committee in the school, including the curriculum and hiring committees. I'd like to thank each of those students who have given time, energy, and their passion in serving the school. Thank you all so much. To help celebrate the community these students have built at the School of Social Work, here is one of our graduating MSW students, Becca Lips, performing Resilient by Rising Appalachia.
Hi there, my name is Becca Lips. My friends call me Bex. I use they, them, and she, her pronouns. I am graduating this year from the University of Washington with a master's in social work and a concentration in community-centered integrative practice. I strongly believe that music is medicine for the soul, and I am very honored to be able to share the gift of song to the class of 2020. I would love to share a couple of songs that have given me a lot of strength this year and the past couple of months in particular. This first song is called Resilient. It's by Rising Appalachia. Hope you enjoy. Resilient, I trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative, I'll show up at the table again and again and again, I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Oh, 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 oh. These times are poignant, the winds have shifted, it's all we can do to stay uplifted, pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out front, yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want, realized and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the water, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Oh, 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 I'm made of dirt, yeah, made of the fine things. My father taught me that I'm a speck of dust and this world was made for me. So let's go and try our luck. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down. I've got my roots down, 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 down. So what are we doing here? And what has been done? What are you gonna do about it when the world comes undone? My voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. Put us all together, we'll make a mighty I am resilient, I trust the movement,
Now we've come to the time in the program to confer the degrees. We want to give you all the option to watch as many of the degree conferrals as you'd like. You will find that you have options on your screen to watch the degrees granted by program. You can watch just one or watch them all. We'll also have the whole event posted on our School of Social Work graduation website for the next 10 days, so you can come back and watch again if you'd like.